Speak. Okay, so very good evening, guys. I hope I'm audible and visible to you guys. Please let me know. And today we are going to have a session on crash course, upcoming crash course for this year mains. And firstly, we feel extremely honored and humbled to have served um, over hundreds of students in the last year crash course in sociology, out of which 52 plus have made their name in the final list, and many of whom have come here and took session with us and to help students basically understand what are the problems that usually um, are responsible for student scoring 210 or 220, okay, and what makes 280 or 70 possible considering this year scale down effect into perspective. And today I'm going to discuss many aspects of our crash course and also the issues responsible for students scoring 220 or 210, okay, despite having scored 290 or 80 in the previous attempts, okay, especially. Now, these students, none of them were part of mock interview, okay, sociology mock interview. We don't take any such thing, okay. There is no free test as such. All of these were part of either foundation or crash course, nothing else, okay. Now, each of these students, some of them, especially I would say, have had certain commonalities in their answer writing, and that is very much um, responsible for them to have gotten this much of score. I'll start with the deliverables first. What do we offer in the crash course? And then I'll talk about the issues responsible for low marks in the tests. Okay, to keep it very simple, we have total 8 tests in the crash course come test series, and also there is a course called as test series only. There also we have the same 8 tests only, okay. The test paper remains the same for both the courses. In crash course specifically, what we do is that unlike test series where there is a test and then there is a discussion on the test, we have some revision classes before the test. So that means it's an additional entry of certain classes, certain number of classes before each and every test. And those classes may vary in numbers. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 2 as well, depending on the kind of units that are being asked in the subsequent test. Total 8 tests and approximately total 22 classes we will be having for the crash course, followed by discussion class for each test, which is not going to be more than 1, okay. We will try to wrap it up in 1 discussion class, okay. In-depth clarity of concept is very important. Please understand the crash course is not just meant to quickly revise things or to wrap it up. It is specially meant to make things understandable to many students, by which I mean the static part itself, and I will be coming to that part in the next slide. What do I mean by it? To keep it very short, there are issues with the static, and students are running after current affair and extra number of thinkers, and I'll be coming to this part, this segment specifically in the later slide. But to keep it short, in-depth clarity of concept means concepts like anomy, alienation, rationalization, social action, ideal type, things that we take for granted that we know. There are issues in the understanding of the concepts. Shorter notes in flowcharts is something that we end up with when we have crash course. We not just only revise things, make things more clear in terms of understanding, but we also end up with short notes in flowcharts so that by the end of the session, you don't have, bundle of registers with you. Rather, you have loose sheets with you. You can easily go through them and quickly revise whatever you were supposed to revise through those notes, okay. And by the way, there is also one more point here which I would like to emphasize: live flash writing session in the classes with countdown timer. The students who have already been with us in the last year crash course, they know very well that in the classes we are not just explaining the concepts, we are not just making it to the point, we are also making students write answers on the PYQ right away after the discussion of the concept in the class itself, with the countdown timer of 8 minute or 12 minute, depending on whether the question is 10 marker or 20 marker. Okay. And this will make you or force you to write right away in the class itself without fear of being judged, without fear of losing marks. You will just write, and in the process you will understand the difference between something which I highlight or emphasize a lot, difference between notes and demand. It is only through such sessions that you will gradually refine that understanding, and that will get reflected in the tests which are there after the crash course classes. The next thing that we have in the crash courses, as I told you, PYQ 10 to 15 year PYQ discussion is included in the crash course classes. Now this does not mean that we discuss each and every question of the past 15 year, no, but we definitely discuss some of the most unconventional or typical questions which are usually ignored, and people may end up writing their notes in those questions thinking that may be right. कुछ तो अच्छा है, कुछ ना होने से ये सोचकर लिखना से बेटर है कुछ होना जो कि रेलेवेंट है वही लिखना, and we actually pick such questions up in those classes. Smart MCQ on your smartphone for quick revision of facts and application. This is very important aspect. Although we followed this in the last class, but we could not be very regular with this one. But this time around, we are going to be regular with this feature as well. What is this feature all about? After revising, suppose we revise unit 1, 2, 3, the first 3 chapters of unit of paper 1. Okay. After revising those 3 units, what we do is that we play a small quiz. Now we play a small quiz means that you play it on your smartphones. You will see some questions flashing on your smartphone. Okay, it's an application that you will get introduced to later on in the class itself. In the smartphone, you will solve approximately 40 to 50 questions or 30 to 40 questions from those 3 units. Okay, just for example. And those questions will help you revise some subtle aspects of unit 1, 2, 3 which you may often ignore or you may not be so comfortable with. Okay, this could be some fact, this could be some application of those facts, it could be anything, but it will help you reinforce those static ideas in your mind. And lastly, we have test discussion, of course, with focus on answer writing. Now what do I mean by this? See, when we discuss tests, we don't just open PDF here with model answers. No, we don't do that, because that is already available with students. Okay, our focus is not on model answers or solved PYQs. Our focus is on structuring of your answer, which is very different from the way answers are published in the PYQ books. Okay, in the PYQ book, it is not answer, it is content borrowed from any source. Okay, but it is content, it is not answer. When you write answer in the exam hall, you don't start right off from the left extreme corner till right extreme corner like a typewriter. You leave some space from the left, leave some space from the right. You have something called as indentation that you follow. You underline, you highlight, you make flow chart, you bubble, you underline, you make sometime italics as well. So presentation part, those things are what we call as answer writing. Subheadings, breakdown of the question into parts. This is something that we call as organic answer that is reproducible in those 7 minutes. You don't get this in the PYQ books, and you often borrow content only from the PYQ books, not the way answer should be written. So this must be clear, and we focus a lot on the answer writing aspect in the test discussion class. Okay. Now let us understand the most important issue, the recurring issues most of the students are facing in sociology, and this must be acknowledged by all of us without any shame, guilt. This must be acknowledged right at this point of time. Okay, I'll start with the first aspect, and this needs to be addressed. Myth of value addition. वैल्यू एडिशन का मतलब हम क्या समझ रहे हैं आज की डेट में? दिस इज सो अनफॉर्चुनेट दैट वैल्यू एडिशन का मतलब हम समझ रहे हैं 6 more thinkers for that question, 5 more points from current affair, from EPW, from Yojana, from Kurukshetra, from Hindu, Indian Express. This is what we are meaning by value addition. Completely wrong notion of value addition. Value addition does not mean content addition. Value addition means strengthening of your static part and having nuanced understanding of your static aspect, which is completely ignored just because students feel they have read it, so they know it. That is not the case. You have read it, but you are yet to know it. And you have to be open ears and eyes to understand and acknowledge this part. Okay. So don't run after X number of thinkers, X number of points. It's not about content addition, it's about content refinement. So we need to really know the true meaning of value addition. Please understand this. Now, second point, complex statements and forceful entry of thinkers, recurring issue. Many a times it is often observed students are writing complex statements, okay, trying to force jargons in their sentences to sound sociological or philosophical, if not sociological, okay, in a way that examiner feels that he knows it, but examiner will not feel it. Examiner in fact will feel that he does not know, because the more complex you make the sentence, the more easier you are making for examiner to know that you don't know. You will often see the students who are getting selected are writing their answer in very simple language, and the toppers copy are readily available for the reference. We have to accept this fact that it is only simple answer writing that is going to help us. The more we think of making it complex, jargonish, the more we are creating problems or troubles for ourselves. And we must avoid that. And do not ever think that if somebody has gotten 280, 290 marks just by writing simple, I to know more complex statements and concepts, so I will get to 320 marks. No, there is no such correlation between the language that you use and the marks that you get. This is not mathematics or chemistry. Okay, you must acknowledge the nuances. If you make it simple for the examiner, only then he will understand what you want to say, and only then he will be giving you marks. Third point, and I'll be giving you example also for all these points once I'm done with all the basic issues. The policy of drop and move, very important one. What is drop and move? Just to give you one example, and you can relate to it if you are also victim of this policy. What is drop and move? You define something, right? After defining, firstly, the definition is not complete. You have just used some keywords, okay, but not written the complete sentence anyway. When it comes to example, you are just dropping one or two word and moving to other part without elaborating the example properly, not justifying what have you written. Now, just to give you one example here, positivism, okay, a simple philosophy. What is this philosophy? The philosophy is very simple. It is a philosophy which states that the social world that we see around us can be studied scientifically, by which we mean laws or generalizations can be developed on this world, social world, on the basis of data. Okay. Now, if I were to give example to this point, I can't say, for example, social fact, for example, suicide. No, this is drop and then move to some other point without explaining. No, this will not be entertained. And we in our evaluation process actually pinpoint these things. Okay. Issues with static compensated by extra content, which means there are issues with the static knowledge itself. Just half an hour back, I was having a discussion with one of the student, and he was like that, all of us know static, right? What extra can we do? I said only one thing, just know the static extra. Okay, what does it mean कि static को अच्छे से जान लो, वही extra है. स्टैटिक को अभी हमने अच्छे से जाना नहीं है और हम एक्स्ट्रा के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, बहुत ज्यादा गलत कर रहे हैं, बहुत ज्यादा गलत. एनोमी सबने सुना है, द मोस्ट स्टैटिक कॉन्सेप्ट ऑन प्लैनेट अर्थ इन सोशियोलॉजी, राइट. एनोमी का मतलब हम समझ क्या रहे हैं, पहले ये जरा जान ले हम. वी आर रेफरिंग टू एनोमी एज अ फेज ऑफ नॉर्मलेसनेस, बस इतना बोल रहे हैं हम. व्हेन सोसाइटी ट्रांजिशंस, नॉर्मलेसनेस. Now, if you tell me that this is what is the static idea of anomy, then you are highly mistaken. You need to correct this itself. Anomy का basic मतलब क्या है, पहले हमें उसे समझ लेना चाहिए. Anomy means lack of regulation on the desire of individuals. जैसे बुद्धा बोलते थे कि सफरिंग का कॉज क्या है, डिजायर, बोलते थे ना बुद्धा. और वो डिजायर कब बढ़ते हैं, मटेरियल एस्पिरेशन से, है ना. तो बुद्धा ने तो वही चीज बोल दी थी जो डरखाइम बोल रहे हैं बाद में. डरखाइम बोलते हैं कि जब कोई गांव का आदमी शहर में आ रहा है, ही इज हैविंग हाई एस्पिरेशंस, यानी उसके डिजायर्स बढ़ गए हैं. एज लॉन्ग एज ही वाज इन द विलेज, हिज डिजायर्स वर कंटेन्ड, रेगुलेटेड, ही वाज खुश, satisfied with whatever means he had before his disposal. But the moment he moved to urban cities, dwellings, he had high hopes and aspirations. That means lack of regulation on desires. यानी जो बच्चा गोंडा में पढ़ता था, वो कोटा आके सुसाइड कर रहा है, क्योंकि कोटा में वो कंपटीशन है, एस्पिरेशन है, यानी डिजायर उसके बढ़ गए हैं कि मुझे आईआईटी में जाना है. ओके, और वो बच्चा इज द विक्टिम ऑफ एनोमी, लैक ऑफ रेगुलेशन ऑन द डिजायर्स. ओके, हर वो इंसान जो चाहता है मिलियनियर बिलियनियर बनना, आईएएस बनना, ऑल ऑफ अस आर विक्टिम ऑफ एनोमी बिकॉज आवर डिजायर्स आर अनरेगुलेटेड इन द मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड. Now check our previous understanding, normlessness. The statement itself is normless. Okay, there is no norm in this idea of normlessness. Now, do you need to add extra stuff to this static, or do you need to work on the static itself? You need to work on static, because unless you work on static, how would you get marks? You can't say that anomy means phase of normlessness. Now let me add AI here to show how normlessness can be created by AI. No, you first need to work on the anomy concept itself. This is what I wanted to tell you. And that is compensated by extra content in the name of extra thinkers. Absurdity. Notes are reproduced as demand. Whatever the question is, you are writing notes. Just to give you one example here. Okay, guys, are you with me? Let me know if my voice is audible to you. Where is the pen? Yes, there it is. Yeah, so let me make this point very clear. Notes reproduced as demand. What is the meaning of this? Check with this question. Explain Durkheim's theory of suicide and its relevance in contemporary society. Right? Now see what happens here. Okay. The moment you see Durkheim's theory of suicide and its relevance, let me first make it clear what the examiner at least expects from us. First, let me make that clear. What is the expectation of examiner? Examiner expects you to first at least define suicide, because Durkheim did so. Okay. You must first define suicide. Okay. And then, without taking theory of suicide for granted, write theory of suicide explicitly And Durkheim's theory of suicide only, not our own theory. Durkheim's theory of suicide only you must write after defining suicide, and then comes the relevance part with a subheading. This is the bare minimum structure that examiner expects. Now, what is the bare minimum content that examiner expects? Let us take definition for given that all of us know it. Okay. Let us talk about this elephant in the room, theory of suicide. Most of us, and I'll be very honest, most of us are writing types of suicide in the theory of suicide. 4 types. And you unconsciously will admit this. Okay, if not consciously. You will talk about altruistic, egoistic, fatalistic, anomic, and you will consider this as theory of suicide. No, this is not theory of suicide, this is typology of suicide. What does it mean? Issue is with the static itself. No extra thinker is going to help you if the given thinker itself requires extra attention, which you are not giving to it. This is the issue. Now understand what is the theory of suicide and why it is called as different from typology. Now see, the theory of suicide is like this, that rate of suicide inversely varies with degree of integration and regulation. Now see, simple society, complex society, here you will have high degree of integration and regulation, community sentiment बड़े strong है और desires के ऊपर control है यानी regulation है. Regulation का ये मतलब है यानी basically उन desires के ऊपर control, और इसी वजह से यहाँ पर rate of suicide कम होगा, low, क्योंकि हमने क्या लिखा है, rate of suicide इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू डिग्री ऑफ, अगर हाई इंटीग्रेशन और रेगुलेशन है तो लो रेट ऑफ सुसाइड है, नॉट नो सुसाइड बट लो रेट ऑफ सुसाइड. ओके, whereas in complex society integration regulation will be very low, individualism is very high, and that is why rate of suicide will be extremely high. High suicide rate. Now this is what theory is, but it is not yet complete. How do we complete this? This is only one aspect of the theory. The extension of the same theory given by Durkheim is that the rate of suicide increases with both economic boom and economic bust. And the last part of this theory is that the rate of suicide is varying among groups due to variation in integration and regulation in those groups. The first was in the society, third one is in the groups, like religious people having low rate of suicide and atheists having high. Now these three form the theory. Now if the examiner expects you to write relevance of the theory of suicide, will you write the types of suicide and then talk about example of each type? No, you must write these 3 points and the example of these 3 to show the relevance of theory of suicide. Now you tell me, do you need to require extra work on static part, or you need to find extra beyond static? If extra beyond static was requirement, no person with the first attempt would have cleared, given the time constraints that we have. The first attempter is only having basic understanding of the things, not just basic but very clear understanding of those basics as well. And the issue with the extra attempters is that they are running after value addition. thinking that this is what they lacked, when in fact they required introspection and reflexivity with the given static concept. Okay, now let me go back to, did this point make sense, guys? Please let me know. In the comment box only, please let me know if this made sense to you. I'll proceed with the next part. क्योंकि थोड़ा सा लैग भी यहाँ पे, आई गेस. And if you have any doubts so far, please let me know. Okay, yes, fine, okay, great. Now please stay with me just for 5 more minutes, and I'm going to tell you very important aspect. Okay, because I'm also equally concerned about your answer writing, trust me. I'm also equally concerned about answer writing. I'm not concerned about extra knowledge. You can easily get it from ChatGPT. Okay, you can as easily get it from Indian Express and Hindu or Toppers Notes or PYQ books. That's not what I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about is what are you going to write on those in those 8 minutes? Are you going to flood your page with those extra things that you borrowed in these 2.5 minutes, or are you going to make sense only in those 8 minutes? This is what I'm concerned about. Now see, unnecessarily writing full page critique without demand, just because this has been a template followed by people for generations or decades. I'm not saying that they were wrong. What I'm saying is you implemented their saying wrong. उन्होंने कहा तो सही था, हमने समझा शायद गलत, और इंप्लीमेंट तो और भी शायद गलत कर लिया. वो कहते थे क्रिटिक जरूर करना क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन वाले क्वेश्चन में. हमने क्या किया, हर जगह करना शुरू कर दिया. क्यों किया हमने, पहले अब इसको भी समझ लेते हैं. व्हाई डिड वी स्टार्ट राइटिंग क्रिटिक इन एवरी क्वेश्चन? फर्स्ट रीजन, because this is what we are taught in GS, and since our mindset is fine tuned to how GS writing is conducted, we reproduce the same even in sociology, because we tend to think this is what the template of this examination is all about. Highly mistaken. You can't write critique without demand. And by chance, second reason which I would definitely like to emphasize is, many a times we are also writing critique because we are running short of content. Let us admit this today. Let us admit this today, we are running short of content. And that is why we are writing critique one full page. Because we have to fill the pages as well. We are given 3 pages. If you know deep inside your heart that you are running out of content, how do you then know that critique is the content? You know it very well, that is not the content, that is just extra. Then you can't expect the examiner to give you marks, because you knew very well right in the first page itself that you may run out of content. This is not what is required. I have already uploaded multiple copies of this year toppers. You will see how less of emphasis have they given on critique until the examiner asks them critical assessment or critically analyze, without which they never wrote critique. Okay, and you can easily check. Next is lack of reflexivity. What do I mean by lack of reflexivity? Lack of reflexivity is that while writing, you may know that you are not writing it right. You are writing notes, not demand. Unfortunately, reflexivity is missing. That means introspection is missing. You want the other person to tell you this. You want the other person to tell you this, that you are writing notes, not the demand. Only then you get validation. Yes. Why don't you keep a check on yourself and keep open ears and eyes and try to bring some reforms in your idea of writing in these 2.5 months, and acknowledge the issues which are persistent and work on it the moment you are given this suggestion. And I'm sure next test onwards you will not be repeating this. So lack of reflexivity is the basic issue. Poor understanding of unit 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 10. See, बचा क्या पेपर 1 में, बचा ही क्या. द मोमेंट पीपल स्टार्ट विद सोशियोलॉजी, द फर्स्ट थिंग दिस सर थिंकर पढ़ना शुरू करते हैं यूनिट 4। अरे यूनिट 1 2 3 का क्या हुआ? क्या हुआ यूनिट 1 2 3 का? इग्नोर हो गया ना हर साल की तरह? इस साल भी वही उसके साथ होएगा और वही आपके साथ वो फिर करेगा, आपको इग्नोर कराएगा फील बाद में। अभी नहीं तो बाद में फील करा देगा आपको। यूनिट 1 2 3 का वेटेज देखो, इन द लास्ट 3 4 years वेटेज देखो यूनिट 1 2 3 का। इन द पास्ट 3 years approximately 80 marks worth content is asked from unit 1 2 3, and the questions from unit 1 2 3 are sometimes asked with your favorite area unit 4, so that you become disabled on that day। आपको बड़ा मन करेगा कि मैं रॉबर्ट मर्टन और मैक्स वेबर को सॉल्व करूं, बीच में आ जाएगा वर्चुअल एथनोग्राफी। यू विल स्टार्ट फीलिंग डिसेबिलिटी कि मैं क्या करूं, मुझे मर्टन आता था, वेबर आता था, बस इस एथनोग्राफी ने फंसा दिया, या बस रिलायबिलिटी वैलिडिटी ने फंसा दिया, या बस कोरिलेशन कॉजेशन ने फंसा दिया। ओके, so you need to understand that you can't ignore unit 1 2 3 at any cost। Let me talk about unit 1 very briefly, emergence of sociology। Students know it very well, they just need to be reflexive. This is what I just said. They know it very well. They are not writing emergence of sociology, they are just writing French industrial enlightenment and Renaissance, and hence sociology emerged. This is how sociology is emerging these days on the paper. You write just events and then hence sociology emerged. Arey, where is the bridge? How did it emerge out of nowhere? Out of nowhere, literally. You need to write that statement which was asked in the examiner. You are writing notes only. You're thinking this is a demand. No, this is not demand. Please understand this. That, and this is what we emphasize a lot when we evaluate your copies. We actually pinpoint that this is notes, not the demand. It is yet to be addressed. Where is the emergence of sociology? Unit 2, Sociology as Science. Let us admit this, that we do not yet know whether sociology is science or not. We just know what do we have to write when sociology is science? Yes. What do we have to write? Sociology is science? No. But we don't know whether sociology is science. Okay. And what are we doing when we are saying sociology as science? Yes or no? We are just dropping names, writing some absurd statements not even given by those thinkers, and leaving it to the intellect of examiner to then make sense on his own. He will not make sense. He will not make your job, make his job easy. And if you do not, then he will make your job very difficult. Trust me. Okay. Same is the case with unit 3, highly ignored unit. 6, work and economy, again ignored. 7, politics and society. People ignore everything beyond theories of power. They love elite theory of power, C.W. Mills. After that, they start hating everything. Social movement they ignore, protest they ignore, agitation they ignore everything which is part of C or D, part of politics and society. They know it very well. They just need to admit this, acknowledge this, because this is the first step to learning. There is no shame in admitting. Please understand, this is just first step to learning. Unit 10, social change. Every year, science and technology, education, media, questions on these, how they are agents of change in one or the other way. They are asking these questions. We are ignoring them, trying to escape them, trying to solve thinkers, because we can't solve these questions. Until we get our static right, how is John Baudrillard going to help you? How is Derrida going to help you? How is Foucault going to help you until you know Durkheim right? Until you know the static right? You are trying to sound fancy at the cost of basics. You are trying to sound fancy at the cost of basics. जितना जल्दी एडमिट करेंगे उतना अच्छा। अनकॉन्शियस नहीं तो कॉन्शियस सही, कॉन्शियस नहीं तो अनकॉन्शियस ही सही। डीप डाउन अंदर ही अंदर सबको मालूम होगा ये उस सब को इग्नोर करते हुए वी आर रनिंग आफ्टर कंटेंट, कोई नोटिफिकेशन मिस ना हो जाए हमसे, सब ले लें, हम सब कुछ डाउनलोड कर लें, ये एटीट्यूड नहीं चलने वाला है, बिल्कुल भी नहीं चलने वाला है। ओके, poor understanding of paper to static and calling whole paper to dynamic. अच्छा, डायनेमिक वर्ड इज वेरी पॉपुलर। डायनेमिक का मतलब क्या, जरा समझ लेते हैं। आपके नजरिए से जो नहीं आता वो डायनेमिक है। बड़ी सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बोलूं, जिसमें कंफर्टेबल नहीं है वो डायनेमिक कहलाया जाता है, जिसको 5-6 बार पढ़ा हुआ है वो स्टैटिक बन जाता है। ये है डेफिनेशन स्टैटिक और डायनेमिक की। अच्छा, पेपर 2 पूरा ही डायनेमिक बोल दिया जाता है, भुला दिया जाता है कि उसके अंदर विलेज स्टडीज हैं जो स्टैटिक है, कास्ट सिस्टम है जो स्टैटिक है, पर्सपेक्टिव टू स्टडी इंडियन सोसाइटी है, इंडोलॉजी है, स्ट्रक्चरल फंक्शनल पर्सपेक्टिव है श्रीनिवास का, जो सब स्टैटिक है। सब भुलाकर सेक्शन सी तो पूरा डायनेमिक है, पर ये बोलेंगे अरे सेक्शन ए और बी कितना पढ़ा आपने, सेक्शन सी के वो 2 चैप्टर जो हैं, 3 चैप्टर्स उसके पीछे पड़े रहेंगे पूरा साल, उसके लिए कंटेंट ढूंढेंगे, ईपीडब्ल्यू पढ़ेंगे, टेलीग्राम ग्रुप बना लेंगे, चैनल खोल देंगे सिर्फ वो 3 चैप्टर के लिए, लेकिन एक मेहनत नहीं करेंगे कुर्ग की स्टडी को ढंग से समझने की, जो स्टैटिक है। जब तक आप ये नहीं समझोगे कि आखिर एम एन श्रीनिवास की स्टडी जो कुर्ग की है उसको स्ट्रक्चरल फंक्शनल क्या बना रहा है, आप क्या बात कर रहे हो विजन ऑफ सोशल चेंज में गुहा को डालने की, पहले एम एन श्रीनिवास तो ठीक कर लो, प्रॉब्लम तो वहीं हो रही है, स्टैटिक ही गड़बड़ है। UPSC asked this question just 2-3 years back. Explain the study of religion and society among Kurgs. एम एन श्रीनिवास क्या किया बच्चों ने उसके अंदर, सब लिख दिया जो पता था एम एन श्रीनिवास के बारे में, संस्कृताइजेशन, वेस्टर्नाइजेशन, रिलेशन बिटवीन संस्कृताइजेशन वेस्टर्नाइजेशन। अरे कोर्स की स्टडी तो बता दो, कोर्स में क्या किया उसने, कुछ नहीं बताया, एंड देन दे एक्सपेक्ट टू गेट गुड मार्क्स। स्टैटिक ही गड़बड़ है। हाउ इज एक्स्ट्रा कंटेंट और वैल्यू एडिशन, आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज वैल्यू एडिशन, whatever it is actually subtracting value from your static and your answer and your attempt. Okay, please work on static part first, please. Section A and B is highly static, even in section C population is highly static, population chapter highly static, question on aging, sex ratio, mortality rate, migration, static area, social movement completely static, environmental movement completely static. Just because you did not read this, you can't call it dynamic. It is still a static part. It has been asked by UPSC multiple times, and we teach this in both foundation and crash course. It is static part. Okay, Dalit movement, backward class movement, everything is static only. Just because we ignore it, we start calling it dynamic and contemporary, with that as if that we need to study something on these things from Indian Express. No, it's not going to help until you know what is A. How are you going to know what is apple? A for apple होता है, पहले A तो हम समझे, A है उससे एप्पल है, हम सीधा एप्पल्स के पीछे जा रहे हैं, टाइप ऑफ एप्पल्स के पीछे हम जा रहे हैं, जबकि A ही अभी क्लियर नहीं हुआ है। नाउ सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट इशू जो मुझे आपको बताना है, डिस्कस करना है, ओके गाइस, let me know if all these points made sense to you, and please be honest. Okay, it's about not just me or you, it's about the time, these 2.5 months. If we need to realize the importance of this time, एकदम से निकल जाता है 2.5 months, पता ही नहीं चलता है, उस टाइम का हमें रिस्पेक्ट करना है। ओके, ये चीज जो मुझे आपको आज बतानी है ये बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है मेरे लिए, बिकॉज आई फील अगर आपको ये चीज आज बता दी, सिर्फ आपका नहीं मेरा भी कल को टाइम सेव होगा। ओके, फाइन, सबसे बड़ा इशू इवैल्यूएशन। लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दिस थिंग कॉल्ड एज इवैल्यूएशन। ओके, इसकी बात तो करना बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया आज की डेट में। क्या हो रहा है इवैल्यूएशन के स्टैंडर्ड्स को हमारे, ओके ये बात मैं आपको नहीं कह रहा हूं, मैं सभी कोचिंग इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए बात करना चाहता हूं इस चीज के ऊपर। ओके, बच्चों का 2.5 मंथ्स कितना क्रूशियल है ये सबको पता रहना चाहिए, सिर्फ उन बच्चों को नहीं जो इस एग्जाम को देने जा रही है, सभी को पता रहना चाहिए क्या हो रहा है इवैल्यूएशन में। एड दीज थिंकर्स, ये है रिमार्क्स, और कोने में लिखे होंगे राइट कॉलम में या लेफ्ट कॉलम में, एड दीज 4-5 थिंकर्स एंड देन यू गेट मार्क्स। अच्छा, कभी कभी ये भी लिखा जाएगा एड दीज थिंकर्स एट दीज पॉइंट्स, और तो भी 6 मार्क्स पूरे दिए हुए हैं। समझ नहीं आया, फिर ऐड करें कि ना करें ये तो बताओ। व्हाट इज द स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ इवैल्यूएशन दैट वी हैव? पीपल आर जस्ट रीडिंग योर आंसर half heartedly, giving you full marks and adding some remarks for the sake of adding because this is what they are paid for. The fact is, until someone reads in between the line at this point by this statement, and you should have written this point to make it more organic, until then you can't say your copy got evaluated on right standards. In evaluation process that we follow, we never ask students to add thinkers or add content. We actually ask the student to substitute content and make him realize this is notes, not the demand, and what makes the demand different from the notes. Had you written this point like this, then it would have been demand. Otherwise, it is still notes only. Okay. This is what the evaluation should be like. And if you think adding 10 thinkers in the first page, 5 more in the second, and 5-6 more in the critique is value addition, you are highly mistaken. Highly mistaken. But examiner will not be mistaken. And they know what they require. You cannot ever outbeat those examiner in terms of knowledge. They professors themselves in our classes at JNU and DU used to say UPSC students beat around the bush. They just drop thinkers thinking this is sociology. So unfortunate that we have not internalized the discipline and reduced this discipline to thinker. You need to admit this as soon as possible. जितना हम करेंगे उतना ही हमारे लिए अच्छा है. And most of the students are given 130, 140 easily. And when they get 110 marks, 90 marks on the D day, they get shock of their life. That we were performing, we were getting this much score, ये क्या हो गया अचानक से 90 कैसे आ गया? अरे 130 ही कैसे आया? शॉक तो हमें उस चीज का हो रहा था कि 130 कैसे आ गया उस कंटेंट पे, 90 का कोई शॉक नहीं है, क्योंकि then we reviewed the copy and understood it was worth 90 only. Had you been guided at the right point of time, you would not have gotten shock of your life after 4 months. This is why it is important that you get fixed at the right time on right standards. Now, let me lastly talk about the principles that we stand for throughout our course, throughout our evaluation process. Know it like a sixth attempter, but write it like a first attempter. What does it mean? That your statics should be very strong. Your fundamental should be very strong. कल को कोई आपसे पूछे पॉजिटिविज्म तो बस साइंटिफिक स्टडी बोलकर अगर चुप हो रहे हो ना, एक बार और सोच लेना घर जाके कि मुझे और क्या कहना चाहिए था, क्या मुझे जरूरत है पॉजिटिविज्म सच में पढ़ने की. Can you explain whatever you have studied to a layman? If not, then you need further study. That means you need to have clarity on that concept, not take it for granted. Until you know what is anomy properly, how do you then compare it to alienation? आप बोलोगे anomy is phase of normlessness, जो कि senseless है, मैंने अभी आपको बताया थोड़ी देर पहले. I don't want to repeat this. Anomy आप बोलोगे phase of normlessness, and then you will compare this statement phase of normlessness with alienation of Karl Marx, estrangement of workers. Do you really think these 2 points are comparable? Why else examiner would have given you this question if this is how you are going to address this? when the statements even do not fall in symmetry with each other. Anomie means lack of regulation on the desires of individuals, whereas alienation means high regulation on the desires and the activities of workers. And this high regulation on workers and lack of regulation on the lives of individual makes them comparable, not phase of normlessness and estrangement. No, you need to get the static right, not run after extra, but put extra efforts in the static. This is what I call as know it like a sixth attempter, but write it like first attempter. And what are students doing maximum? They are knowing it like first attempter, writing like a sixth attempter. They are making complex statements, adding Baudrillard, Foucault, Derrida, just to compensate for lack of knowledge, just that they don't admit it, okay? Making things complex like a sixth attempter, okay? When they should have written it like a first attempter in a simple form, to the point. The demand should have been addressed. These flowery things will not help. But why are they not doing it? Because basics are not strong. Why? Because they never gave time to basics. They gave more time to value addition. They gave more time to value addition. They never gave time to static, because वो तो हमारे पास पढ़ा ही हुआ है, अब कुछ एक्स्ट्रा करते हैं. अरे एक्स्ट्रा उस पे कर लो जो पढ़ा हुआ था, वो पढ़ा ही रह जाएगा. नहीं तो प्रॉब्लम ये हो चुकी है. Guys, let me know if you agree to this. Second point, examiners check your answers vertically, not horizontally. What does it mean? Examiners do not find any interest in checking your answers with full passion. This is not how things are going on in the board. What happens is, all of them are given tasks. All of them are taskers. Consider the professors as taskers and consider them completing their task in the given time. They have to complete 30 copies, 40 copies, maybe 50 copies per day. The set of 10 or 20 professors are sitting in an assembly line mode to check your copy in an assembly line setting. Just like we have mass production, this is mass evaluation going on. And the principles of industry are the parameter. That means they will be evaluating your copy within 5 or 6 minutes. How is it possible? When you took 3 hours, how are they taking only 5-6 minutes? Because they are checking your answers vertically, not horizontally. They know it very well, whether you know it or you don't. They know how to sort things which are extra from the things which are requirement. And they can easily sort this out with just vertical motion of their eyes. They don't need to check each and every line left and right. Please keep this in mind. Third point, practice writing answers in 8 and 11.5 minutes for a 10 and 20 marker respectively. This is what we do in the class. So that आप ताकि 8 और 11.5 मिनट में प्रैक्टिस करने का वो स्कोप समझ लो क्या होता है, उसकी आपकी प्रैक्टिस हो जाए. उसी दिन आपको वो मेहनत ना करनी पड़े और ऐसा ना हो कि आपका टाइम जा रहा है. वो 8 और 11.5 मिनट की अहमियत डेली क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू आपको इसी क्लास में प्रैक्टिस करने को मिलेगी, PYQ के थ्रू, जिस पे मैं बहुत ज़्यादा एम्फसाइज करता हूँ. बिकॉज आई फर्मली बिलीव until you have solved stand alone questions in 8 minutes, how can I expect you, or how do you expect yourself to solve whole paper in 3 hours? बूंद बूंद से घड़ा भरता है, ऐसा बोलते हैं ना. बूंद ही नहीं है तो घड़ा कैसे भरेगा? तो बूंद पे ही तो पहले काम करना है. पहले तो एक एक दो दो क्वेश्चन पे ही तो काम करना है 8 और 11.5 मिनट देकर. और ये 8 और 11.5 की कैलकुलेशन किस पे बेस्ड है? टोटल 6 क्वेश्चंस आर देयर विच आर 20 मार्कर. 13 questions are there which are 10 marker. 19 questions are to be attempted out of 28 questions in the 3 hours. If you do CSAT, you will come out with this time कि 10 मार्कर के लिए 8 ही मिनट है, 20 के लिए 11.5 ही बचते हैं या फिर 12 शायद बचेंगे. वो आपके ऊपर है. आप जैसे आप इसको 7.5 कर सकते हो, इसको 12 भी कर सकते हो, वो आपके ऊपर है. Follow structure and break the questions into parts. This is very important aspect of answer writing. If you are not following structure in your answer, if you are not breaking the question into parts, you can take it for granted that you are writing notes as it is. Just to give you one example, explain social fact. So simple. Definitely will never be asked by UPSC. There was a time when they used to ask such questions, to write short notes, okay, making life so easy. Explain social fact. Very simple. Notes is equal to demand in this question. Explain types of suicide. Notes is equal to demand in this question. Explain how rate of suicide is a social fact. Notes is not equal to demand in this question. This was this year's question. People would have written suicide, social fact. Now let examiner correlate the two. I have done my job. अरे where did you explain rate of suicide is social fact? कैसे आपने बताया? नहीं बताया, भागे हो आप उससे. जितना जल्दी एक्नॉलेज करोगे इस चीज को, जितना जल्दी एडमिट करोगे, उतना ही आपको समझ आएगा कि स्टैटिक पे काम करना है कि वैल्यू एडिशन करते जाना है. And this is what I emphasize a lot on. I don't let you move here and there. पकड़ के स्टैटिक पे ही काम करना है, ये आप समझ लो. जितना काम उस पर करोगे, टाइम उतना बचाओगे. बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स भी तो पढ़ने, कब तक वैल्यू एडिशन ही करते रहोगे सोशियोलॉजी के लिए? कितने टेलीग्राम चैनल फॉलो कर लोगे कितने टाइम में? यही थोड़ा ना रहने सोशियोलॉजिस्ट बनने आए थे क्या? और बनने भी आए थे तो वो तो ढंग से बन लो. वो भी ढंग से नहीं बने, तुम तो डेटा कलेक्टर बन गए हो, टेलीग्राम के फॉलोअर बन गए हो. ठीक है, इंट्रोस्पेक्शन कर लो, रिफ्लेक्सिविटी करो, अंडरस्टैंड द डिमांड एंड राइट ओनली व्हाट इज आस्क्ड. नॉट एवरीथिंग दैट यू नो बट राइट व्हाट इज आस्क्ड. एंड ये एस्पेक्ट मिसिंग है, बहुत ज्यादा मिसिंग है. यू विल गेट टू नो दिस in the first test itself. What is the meaning of difference between what is asked and what is known? These are the principles we stand for. These are the issues that I believe are recurring issues and you need to work on. In the crash course that we are going to begin from 4th June, we stand committed to all these points, and I'll make sure that you stand by these principles till the very last class and follow the given yardstick and not deviate from it in the name of extra, extra, extra. You need extra introspection, not extra content. With this, I will close the session, and the schedule is available on the website, uploaded on the Telegram channel as well. You may kindly download it. I'll see you soon. And if you have any questions, you may kindly drop these questions before we close the session so that you get clarity as to how we conduct this program, especially to those students who are new to this course. Yes, guys. Sir, within how many days evaluated copies will be returned? Maximum, Radhika, trust me, maximum we take 7 days. I will never say that you will get copy within 1 day. Maximum 7 days. Yes, you may get copy within 1 or 2 days, but I will always talk about maximum, and the maximum is 7 days. And let me also admit this right in this class itself, that by the time test 7 or 8 is conducted, we are flooded with load of copies, and we may sometimes breach this deadline of 7 days. I'm really sorry. Why? Because we don't want to compromise with the quality of evaluation. Just to complete the process, I don't want to just give you tick, tick, tick and add extra nice, nice, good intro, fine intro. I don't want to give these comments. Otherwise, it will take me only 1 day, or take us, our team, only 1 day. We take maximum 7 days. Now the question, yeah, Shivani, sir, word for those who scored 200 in 2024 mains, please, sir. Word for those who scored 200 in 2024. 200 people who have scored 200, 210, they just need to get to the basics. Please understand, you don't require extra content. You don't require Habermas, Adorno. You don't require Dipankar Gupta or Surinder Jothka. You need to know M.S. Srinivas right. You need to know Durkheim right. 200 से 220 के बीच में जितने भी लोग हैं उनको सिर्फ बेसिक्स पे काम करना है और खुले दिमाग से काम करना है और एडमिट करना है कि हाँ ये गड़बड़ थी मेरे में. जब तक वो एडमिशन नहीं होएगा तब तक एडमिशन कैसे होगा, वो आपको करना ही पड़ेगा. और उसमें कुछ शेम नहीं है, कोई गिल्ट नहीं है, वो थोड़ी देर का है, उसके बाद सिर्फ रिवॉर्ड है. ओके, तो ये चीज़ मैं ज़रूर बोलूँगा 200 से 210 20 वालों को. गड़बड़ या तो फाउंडेशन में हो सकती है, जैसी आपकी लर्निंग रही हो, जो भी हो, या फिर सोर्स, या फिर राइटिंग. आई डोंट वांट टू गिव एनी जनरलाइजेशन ऑन दिस, बट यस केस टू केस वेरी करता है. इशू स्ट्रक्चरल है, डिमांड एड्रेस नहीं है उनके केसेस में बेसिकली. ओके सर, आई हैव कंप्लीटेड. How evaluation is done for online student? Is there any difference from offline in process or quality? Same principles, same things are utilized or used when it comes to evaluation. Yardstick is common for both the online and offline student. Mode of learning does not matter. Mood of learning matters. Online, offline does not matter. In the line or out of the line, दिस इज व्हाट मैटर्स. ओके, तो ये सिर्फ मोड है, उसको आप बिल्कुल मत सोचो, हमारे लिए स्टैंडर्ड सेम रहते हैं दोनों के लिए. बिशल कुमार राहा, सर आई हैव बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द एंटायर सिलेबस बट नो नोट्स हैव बीन मेड, कैन आई जॉइन योर कोर्स एंड यूज योर नोट्स डायरेक्टली? वेरी ब्रॉड क्वेश्चन बिशन, very broad question. Okay, I don't know what is the basic understanding that you have, but if you are aiming for next year, definitely I will say yes. If you are aiming for this year, I need to meet you first. Okay, I can't give general statement that yes aa jao. Okay, because trust me, I did not understand your question. Okay, कितना बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग आपकी है, कितना चाहिए आपको, वो कौन से नोट्स है जिसकी आप तलाश कर रहे हो. लेट अस हैव अ 1-to-1 conversation over this. Okay, Kiran RS, sir, will the notes provided in the class be enough or should we also refer to some other notes? Trust me, for the topics that we cover in the crash course, nothing else is required, and the students who were part of the crash course may help these students understand this. They know it very well. Whatever we have covered, nothing more than that is required in that area. Yes, the area that we did not cover, you definitely require not extra stuff for that, but basics. Okay, so कहने का मतलब है, this is just the final one stop that you need to take into consideration when it comes to content, and the clarity of content is actually more important than the content, please understand. Learn with SK, enrolled today, sir, preparing for 2026 though. Okay, fine. Learn either Ishwari, online with crash course and test series, do we get mentorship if we have doubts how to contact you for clarification? Yes, we do have mentorship. And here I would also like to add one more point, and thank you for this question. This reminds me of one thing which I did not mention. I should have mentioned in the first place. We have some toppers with us as mentors. One of the topper will be head mentor, and all of us will be collectively addressing the doubts or queries that you may have with respect to answer writing specifically, not with respect to knowledge, with respect to answer writing. Okay, so we will have some toppers with us, and we will be shortly notifying you on who all those toppers will be. Okay, and the team that we have for evaluation are not the students who have not yet qualified prelims, are not to denigrate those students. Okay, the issue is the students who are writing mains require serious investigation and serious remarks as to what are they lagging in. The students who are Part of the evaluation team are those who have either appeared in mains, written mains, qualified for mains, appeared for interview, or gotten selected. The ones who are selected will be the mentor. The ones who have gone for interview will be the evaluators. And we evaluate on standard principles that I would like to share with you one day, not today, but some other day. And that is why we maintain standardization in terms of comments. We don't give nice intro, fine intro, good, 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 nice conclusion, you can do better. Nahi. Like add extra thinkers. No, this is not how we evaluate. Okay. Aditya Sharma, when is the course starting, sir? Course is starting from 4th June, Aditya. Kushagra Srivastav, sir, I'm part of Sociology Special Focus Group. Should I join this program as well, or Sociology Special Focus Group will be okay? Kushagra, it's completely up to you. If you feel that by the end of August you need to be prepared with uh, what we call as short notes, or you need to be prepared with the competition that you may face one day, because these are the students who are writing mains mostly. What could be what could be better than competing with the students who are writing mains, है ना? At least we will get to know where do we stand in this competition. This is the set जहां हमें अपना स्टैंडिंग ज्यादा अच्छा मालूम चलेगा, right? Vardhaman Ranjan Gupta, crash course will cover what part? How will it help us? I have changed my optional this December from PubAd to Sociology. How do I quickly, effectively cover it? Please tell me. Vardhaman, since you don't have any choice, since you just changed your option from PubAd to Sociology in December itself, so crash course is the only solution for you. What I would tell you is, honestly, whatever we do in the crash course, that will suffice. If anything is left, which will be left, to be very honest, because we are covering the whole syllabus in 22 classes, that means we are going to leave some areas. But every year I make sure I touch the hottest spots, which are very much possible to be asked by UPSC that year. Okay, considering PYQ, thorough PYQ analysis and all those things in mind. So some of those things that we may leave, you may kindly read proper material for that. IGNU, EPG Pathshala, or some other credible source. Okay, not topper copy or some other thing. Okay, because there the professors are they are serious guys. They are serious. Okay, you can't manipulate them into believing that you know everything, because they always know more than us. You just have to convince them that you know sufficient. The time is running out. That is why I can't write everything. But yes, whatever you ask, Mr. Professor, I address this in 8 minutes. Now let me move to the second question. He'll be happy with you. But if you try to manipulate him, पकड़ लेगा बहुत आसानी से वो आपको, और छोड़ेगा नहीं वो अगले क्वेश्चन तक आपको. ठीक है. Next, Sudhanshu Joshi, sir, this crash course plus test series will be enough, or do we need to go for more FLTs, or after this course just focus on PYQ practice? See, trust me, every year when we launch crash course, never ever we thought about adding more number of tests. Yes, we know there are competitors outside. People are giving you 10 tests, 12 tests. People are also giving you free tests. Okay, we don't want to compete with them. Okay, we are here to help you, not to compete with them. This is not our job. Our job is to help you as much as possible at any point of time. 8 test is there to help you only. Had we given you 20 tests or 15 tests, you would have automatically realized after a short point of time this is not possible, because you have many other things to do. You have many other subjects to study. You can't give all the time to sociology. And it is not the quantity of tests that matters, it is the quality of learnings that matter, which you may draw hardly from 3 or 4 tests, and you don't even require 8 full tests to learn those things. Out of 500 or 600 students that we had last year, hardly 40 students wrote 8 tests completely, and rest of the students on average did not write more than 5 tests statistically. Who gained? Coaching industry gained. it was your loss. 8 tests is more than sufficient. Okay, just be loyal to those 8. Don't just run after extra FLTs or tests. Okay. um I'm a student of your social foundation batch, will not be able to clear prelims this time. Should I join this crash course or wait for the next? Yes, both set of students, whether you are clearing prelims or not, both of you have to study optional and ethics by August, till August, and even finish the 2 subjects by August. Those who believe they are not clearing prelims must take this opportunity to compete with those who are expecting to write mains this year, and show them that those who are expecting to write mains are wasting their mains. With this attitude, these students who feel they are not writing mains this year should be writing the test series and compete with these students. This is how you cover the syllabus and see where do you stand in the competition. Otherwise, you are free to sit idle and contemplate as to what may have gone wrong last year had I given this much time to this part of the polity or economy or RBI or constitution, I would have gone through. No. By August, you should finish these optional and ethics, the static part. Because as I told you, September to December is the time of festivities. You will never realize kab ye time fatafat khatam ho gaya. Dashera, New Year, क्रिसमस और धनतेरस में और दिवाली. तो इसलिए आई वुड से बोथ द सेट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स must take this opportunity to complete the syllabus by August. When can I come to meet you personally? Please share your availability. Ankit, usually I'm here till 7 p.m. At LevelupIAS. I'm usually here till 7 p.m. You are most welcome whenever you come. Please let the people at the reception know that you'll be coming so that we can allot you some time. Okay. Kittu Seni, sir, I'm your foundation batch student 2024. So, should I need to buy your book, sir? Why want to, but time constraints. Kittu, you don't need to buy my book. To be very honest with you, you don't need to buy my book. Okay, you just need to work on static only. My book that I have written is only for quick revision of the things. That I would say is something that you should do on your own. The book is just giving you a framework to help you understand how short notes can be made. If in that capacity it helps you, you must buy. Otherwise, you don't need to buy. Okay. Ishu Gupta, online tests will be available. Yes, they will be available. Desired. Sir, this crash course is useful for 2026. Yes, it is useful for 2026 and 2025, both the students. Sajid Ahmed, can you, sir, launch another crash course for 2026 aspirants after 2025 mains, please? Yes, we do launch. Last year also we did launch after the mains for 2025 students. Okay. This year also we will do. Nishant Bansal, sir, I've completed only 20% of my foundation. Do I need to supplement the crash course with something or rely wholly on it? If you have completed 20% of foundation, Nishant, and if you are writing mains, do you have any other choice? This is the question. क्वेश्चन ये है, तब जब चॉइस नहीं है तो फिर जो गिवन ऑप्शंस हैं उसी को अवेल करना इज द राइट, आई वुड से, चॉइस. एंड कोशिश करो कि 20% फाउंडेशन को आप 100% तो अभी आप नहीं कर पाओगे, बट जो बचा हुआ है उसको आप बेसिक्स के साथ कवर कर लो विद द क्रैश कोर्स इफ यू आर अपेयरिंग फॉर मेंस दिस ईयर. चाचा जी, if not qualifying prelims, what should do? As I said, चाचा जी, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, आप वही करिए, यही अज्यूम करिए कि आपको भी तो कभी ना कभी मेंस के लिए रेडी रहना ही है. इस बार नहीं तो चलो अगली बार सही, और अगस्त तक कंप्लीट करने का कोशिश करिए. उन बच्चों के साथ जो इस बार एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि हम मेंस दे रहे हैं, उनके साथ compete करिए. Okay. कि sir, what is the price of crash course? Price is approximately 15 to 16,000. Here, Adarsh. Sir, I was in October mains crash course 2020. Should I join or that batch suffice? Adarsh, I would be very honest with you. Every year, crash course content, we definitely bring changes. It is static, but every year, as I told you, even static include many things which are actually dynamic to many. Andre Bete agrarian classes, something which is static part, we covered last year, but we did not cover it last to last year. Okay, static part, but was not covered last to last crash course, was covered last crash course. Indian political elite, not covered last to last crash course, covered last crash course. Every year crash course content also does bring changes in the static aspects. We do introduce some elements which we should have taught in the previous one, but due to time constraints we could not. And however, to compensate for that, in the next crash course we try to bring in those elements, and this makes the crash course every year unique and relevant, although static only. We don't entertain extra content from Indian Express, Hindu, EPW, Yojana, Kurukshetra in the name of value addition. No, we are not going to do that. Um, Sir, will test paper be checked by you? No, we see. I don't personally check the papers, but yes, I do review the papers. Okay, and we also encourage some aspects of important current issues as well, which is something that I forgot to mention. Like last year also, I make it a practice that every year, whatever current affair is relevant, I upload the same video on YouTube for everyone. It is an open video. Okay, you don't need to be part of crash course for that. So I make it available. It is hardly one video which covers 4, 5 or 6 issues without bundle of registers for you to go through it. Okay, I just focus on limited current aspects which are important for that area, for that year. Okay, and same is the case this year as well. Okay, we work a lot on static part. Remember this. Vipul surrender. I have not. Acha, Surinder hai. Vipul Surinder. I have not completed socio even once. Most probably expected to appear in mains. I think I have not much time to read conventional books. Please guide me how to go forward. See, if you don't have enough time to go uh, forward with the books that you have at your disposal, Vipul, I would tell you that in that case, Crash Course is going to help you, because this is the only course that covers static and emphasize a lot on static portion right from the day one, along with answer writing practice. Vaibhav Thakre sir, I had not cleared prelims. I don't have much understanding of the subject. Had not wrote much answer of PYQ sociology. Should I go for a crash course or go for foundation course? If you are complete beginner, Vaibhav, definitely crash course is not a substitute to foundation. Foundation is there for complete beginners. Don't consider crash course to be a substitute to the foundation. It is just a crash course for the mains appearing students who unfortunately don't have enough time to go through everything that they have um, you know uh, collected over the years. Okay guys, so with this I'm completing today's session. I think we have taken sufficient doubts. Issue, sir, I've called multiple times at reception but nobody picked up. Waiting में आता रहता है bus and they don't even revert. Issue, I'm really sorry. I'll definitely convey this to the admin and ask them कि ईशु गुप्ता से कांटेक्ट करें, और ईशु गुप्ता आपको मैं ये भी बोलूँगा कि एक मेल ड्रॉप कर दो आप लेवलअप के ईमेल पर, support@levelupias.com उनका ईमेल आईडी है. इन केस अगर आपका फ़ोन नहीं उठाया या फिर किसी भी और स्टूडेंट का फ़ोन नहीं उठाया बाय चांस, आई एम रियली सॉरी फॉर दैट, आप लोग ईमेल कर सकते हो and you can drop your phone number in that email. The admin will revert, okay, and they will help you out with the given query that you may be having. Um, Toshika, nobody is responding in your coaching center, sir, for optional batch. Every query. Please do look on my issue. I'm appearing in 2026. Toshika, I'm really sorry. सी इशू बस वही रहता है तोशिका, लाइंस बिजी रह जाती होंगी और वो सिर्फ अभी अभी की बातें हैं क्योंकि अभी प्री हुआ है, तो एंग्जाइटी का इशू रहता है मास लेवल पर, टाइम की शॉर्टेज है, बच्चे सब फोन कर रहे होते हैं, तो दिस हैपन्स। बट ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। आप मान के चलो, आप ईमेल कर लो या फिर दोबारा ट्राई कर लिया करो, ओके, वो फोन मिल ही जाएगा इवेंचुअली। Abhishek Kumar, I have almost 80-90% notes completed. Some experience with PYQ question, but lacking answer writing. Lacking answer writing practice, or if you have not gone through PYQ, or if you are not good enough with static, for all of these things, crash course, um, I would say, definitely helps. Okay. So thank you guys for attending the session, and really hope that you would introspect, you would be reflexive, and you would consider these things next time when you start writing your answers, and you would keep all the parameters in your mind once you get evaluated copy in your hand, so that you know whether this was rightly evaluated or not. I conclude the session. I see you guys on 4 June. Thank you.